there, everybody?
I hope you guys heard me yelling.
Hi there.
Hi.
Mary, Julianne, and Linda. I don't see
Hello.
any of you, but I don't see any of you, but I hear you. Nobody wants to be seen today. It's one of those days. I get it. No worries.
Hello.
Hi.
My screen
Hi, Julian.
opened all the way.
Awesome. Do you all have everything you need, the bolsters and everything? I'm going to show you here. Well, if you can see, we're going to end up, I'm going to get bigger here in a second, but hopefully you can see. There we go. Beautiful. Pin. Let's see. Trying to pin me here. Pinning into it will remove alls for everyone. Do you want to continue? I'm not sure. Huh. I'm trying to spotlight me, Sherry. Are you there?
You are spotlighted already, my
Am
dear.
I?
I
I'm
did
not
it.
on my
Yes.
computer though. So everybody, welcome. Hi, Jessie.
You might be in gallery mode.
Oh, that's probably what it is.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, I am. All right. So if you can see behind me, everybody, this is going to be our first pose. So this is supported fish pose or Matsyasana. Now there's a lot going on. I'm going to be doing some sound healing throughout this experience. So that's the extra bonus today. But if you can see what I'm doing here, I'm going to show you. So if you have yoga blocks, that's great because then you can set them like this, like a capital L, and you put those towards the back end of your mat where your head and back will lie. If you have a bolster, you do that. If you do not have a bolster, anything longer or more firm. We also have, like if you have rolled up towels, anything like that would be good. And then what I've placed on the sides, it's almost like this is an armchair. So I've got a zafu on one side and a kripalu cushion on the other. And then what you do is you come down in front of that unit, and if you have two other blocks, if you don't, no worries, but if you did, they could be underneath your knees, like such, or you could bring your soles of feet to touch, Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined, and you could take blocks or anything you have there on the outer thighs. And so take whatever time you need. There's no rush here. We just want to get into a position that feels extra supportive. And I'm going to come to the screen and take a peek at you all. And if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. Also, if you could turn your original sound for musicians on, it's at the top of your screen. That would be great for the benefit of your experience of the sound bowls. So if you can do that, that would be wonderful.
What do you?
Sorry, I just muted everyone, which accidentally unmuted or muted Antoinette too. I'm just gonna, sorry about that.
What do you mean by turning on our sound?
So at the very top of your screen to the left, you go up there and it says, there's a little, it should say it, original sound for musicians. If you can turn that on, it's on the top left of your
Well,
screen. Did anybody find that?
I have my things are at the bottom
Or yours at the bottom?
where it says participants, chat, share screen, record, show.
Yeah. If you, Sherry, should it be on there for everybody at the top left?
It depends on what device you're on.
Mm.
Um, so like for example, I'm on a Mac, so it's at the top left-hand corner of my screen. It says Sound for Musicians, original sound on. It might be in audio preferences as well. And if you can't find it, don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
don't worry about it. It's just to enhance the sound of the bowls and the gong and everything, but don't worry. So most importantly though, because we're in restorative yoga today, yay, is to find your way into this pose. And so, hey Sherry, we can keep them unmuted for a bit. Is that okay? So that they can ask questions if they need to.
Sounds good. Just when you're ready for them to mute, just ask them to mute.
Okay,
Great.
perfect. I think they probably all heard that. So if you guys have a question, you can unmute and then mute again when you're done asking the question. So I can't really see everybody's setup. I'm trying to see. You want your back at an angle. Do you see that? You want it kind of elevated if that's possible. If it isn't, that's okay. But that's what we're looking for.
Do you want your head resting on the top of the pillow or?
Yeah, that would be preferred. So you want your whole spine resting. And it just depends on what you have. So see how my whole, this is just a, this is a really good bolster because it supports my whole back. In a perfect world, that would happen. Let's just say you have something shorter. Like when I'm at Kripalu, they don't have bolsters. So what I do is I take this exact cushion and I put it like that. And then what happens, because it's much shorter, I still come into the very same position, but I put my head on the upper block like that. And so there's a little bit more of a tilt back, but it still feels really supportive. And so again, whatever you've got around you, so that when you bring your arms here like I have, the shoulder girdle can relax. If you don't have anything under, the shoulder will release, and that's okay if that feels okay for your shoulder. But if there was something that you could put underneath, like I've done here, that would be great.
I'll be right back.
Okay, yes, come and go as you need to find that sweet spot. I'm going to take a peek. Yeah, and have a blanket. So you want to be really warm, like your socks on and beautiful. And we're going to be here for about 15 minutes. It's going to take time for everything to settle in. Yeah, I've got everything but the kitchen sink in here. So the more props you got, the better. Beautiful. That looks good. That looks good down there. Yes. Mary, that looks great. And in a pinch, cushions from the couch will do. So I'm going to go ahead and play the bowls while you guys are resting. So once you get into your position, first thing, maybe bring your right hand to your belly, your left hand to your heart. Start to feel your body, feel your belly, feel your heart area. If you have an eye cushion or, like anything that, like a hand towel to put over your eyes, that would be great too. If you don't have one, that's okay. The eyes can just stay closed. But yeah, fiddle around, do what you need to do until you find, that you feel very, very supportive and warm. Julianne, that looks great. That looks good. Lots of support underneath the knees. And just start to take slow, deep inhales. And then when you're ready, open the mouth and just exhale. Slow, deep breath in. Full releasing, comforting exhale out of the mouth. These breaths, especially the first ones in our practice, they kind of set the tone. They bring you into your still point, They calm the mind, the mental activity. Hearing the sound of your breath, the feeling of it, the coolness as it enters your nostrils, and the warmth as it exits your mouth. Feel your belly and what's in there. If your hand is there, if your hand is on your heart still, feel your heart. And yeah, if you're ready to release your arms, certainly you can. Because eventually we just want to let all the limbs feel the support of the props and the floor beneath you. Nothing to do. Before I begin the sound bath, I'm going to read a short little quote by Muji, who I'm sure many of you know. Just rest. No time. No intention. No future. No past. No identity. Just for a moment. The world can do without you for a few moments. Keep allowing your breath to deepen and lengthen. Allowing yourself to melt and surrender and let go of any efforting, any of the doing, the striving, the planning. Allowing your body to tune in and tap in to its natural wellspring of healing energy that lives within you just by resting. We're going to begin to adjust out of this posture very, very slowly. So the first thing is to just take a slow, deep breath, just an effortless breath. Just let it enter the body and exit as it does. This sends a little message to the body that we're going to reanimate it, albeit extremely slowly and very mindfully with breath. So the first thing you might do is just let your head begin to just drift a bit from side to side, depending on what your head is resting on. Just see if you can feel the contact of whatever that is, and just gently keep that connection as you roll a bit left and right, just to bring a little bit of energy into the neck, a little bit of a release. And then you might lift your hands and fingers off of the floor or the cushions and just start to stir the hands around the wrists. And then begin to work with your fingers a little bit, just kind of stretching and reaching them and just kind of drawing different shapes in the sky. Like all these are 5 tentacles on one side, and then the other side doing different things. And then maybe flick all the fingers off the thumb pad. And maybe squeeze your hands and stretch them a couple times. Then we can let the hands rest down, and then bring your attention all the way to your feet. And just first notice the position of them. And then begin to wiggle your toes. Move them around almost as if they were fingers. And then maybe some gentle ankle rotations. Just feet swirling around the ankles. Minimal energy here, minimal effort. And then depending on your legs, I'm going to invite you to, if your legs are open, bring your hands to the outside of the legs and just extend your legs fully forward. You can take anything that's underneath your knees away or underneath your calves. And then bend one knee at a time and put the sole of the foot flat on the floor, and then let the other one follow. And so your back body is still in that same position if you can manage to stay there a little longer. And just let your knees just start to do a little windshield wipering from left to right, very slowly. No rush at all. Just get a sense of the hips as you move the knees from left to right. Get a sense of your sacrum. And then from here, I'm going to invite you to slowly take your hands to your wrists and just lift your arms over your head. Let the arms descend behind your head. Maybe if there's no support behind you, you can put your hands on your forehead. Or if it's available for you to hang your hands and arms behind your head, that's wonderful as well. And just take a couple deeper breaths. And while you're doing that, step your feet as wide as your shoulders and let your knees lean into each other like a upside down V shape. So the knees, the inner knees are touching, and this is a wonderful positional release for our sacrum. And then just notice the expansion across your shoulders and your chest. See if you can invite a breath to the upper area of your body. And then exhale, let it all go. Deep full breath in, and then exhale. And then let your arms slowly come down onto your torso and just wrap your hands around your shoulders or around your shoulder blades, whatever's available. And just do a little gentle rotation, just a little rotation of your trunk left and little right. Breathing in and out. And then from there, just let your arms begin to slide off of one another. They're just going to dissolve back to the ground. So the elbows will touch down like anchor points and just unfurl the lower arms, hands and fingers. And from that position, let's take a pause just to notice any inner changes. Anything that's showing itself, that's emerging, like space or tingles or just what you're aware of inside of your body in this moment. And so from there, let your knees lean over toward one side. Whatever side they lean over to, take that arm and just release it off to the side. And you're going to carefully come off of all the props. Allow your head to come down to the inner line of that arm and the top hand just resting on the floor in front of you. So see if you can get off of all of the props. It's okay if there's a blanket on you for a moment. But just take a moment or two to let the spine integrate the back bend. We opened up the spine here in that pose for 15 minutes. So when we lie on our side, this is the most neutral position for the spine. We're going to end up coming back down into this position, but we're going to have support. But for now, just let your abdomen relax fully. Let it be very natural. Notice your hips, your knees, and your ankles resting into one another, and your head's weight completely resting on the inner line of that supporting arm. As a person with chronic back issues, I come to this position often because it's such a relief for the discs. All the pressure comes off the spine when you're laying on your side body. And we're going to use this position to slowly rise up. So when you feel ready and there's no rush, but take that top hand, push it into the floor very firmly in front of your heart. I'm just going to slide the top leg out. I'm not going to lift the leg. I'm just going to kind of slide the leg until it's long. I'm going to gaze down so as not to strain the neck, and then use the other hand as needed to come all the way up to seated. And then when we come up to seated, I'm going to invite you to come up into just any seated position. It could be cross-legged or legs extending out. We're just going to take a moment to just be, just to check in. So you might just bring your forefingers and thumbs together at the tips. Relax your shoulders. The eyes could be closed or looking towards your heart or towards the floor in front of you. But just take a moment to meditate. Just be aware of how it feels to come out of that first pose, so that we can identify the difference between each of our poses this afternoon. Notice your breath flowing, one breath at a time. Breath in and breath out. Breath in, breath out. Breath in and breath out. Meditation doesn't mean turning the mind completely off. I've never really been able to do that completely. At times, it gets quieter for a while, but there's still thoughts passing by. But they can be just like the clouds that are passing by our heads, that are always moving. We could think of our thoughts very similarly, that they're always moving, and we can just let them be where they are. And we can be in the body, which is always here. It's steadfast, it's reliable. Even with all of its quirks, we know that our body's here, and we can always bring our attention to it in any moment. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and start to come into our next pose, which is going to be a supported side bend. So whatever you've got, I'm going to put one cushion or pillow or whatever you have at the far end of your mat. That's where your head's going to rest. I'm going to undo the legs, and I'm going to come down onto one hip. Okay? And then I'm going to take the second item. could be a rolled up blanket. I've got a zafu here, and I'm going to put that in front of that first cushion, but there's going to be this space, if you can see. I call it the valley or the canal. There's a space between these two items because that's where the arm is going to slide through. Now, it's nice to have something between the knees. Now I have my little ajna acupressure pillow that I actually put my head on usually, but I'm going to put that between my knees. You could use a yoga block. You could use a rolled up towel or blanket. Doesn't matter. To go between the legs. And once you've got all of those items, you're going to put that hip that's closer to that second item, you're going to put it flush up against. You're going to start with a long spine. And then we're going to take the inside hand and put it down solidly to the floor in between those two props. The outside arm is going to reach out whenever you get there. And then you're going to take this hand to the inside of your trunk and on these ribs. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of a massage here. We're just going to slide up and down several times, taking a couple deep breaths. Just kind of feel the rib bones. And then come to that floating rib, the lowest one, and just give it a little hoist, a little lift so we don't cramp. And we're going to slide the arm all the way through that valley. And I'm going to make sure that the back of the shoulder is completely on the floor, not on the cushion. And then the head comes to the cushion like that. Now, if you need to adjust whatever's between your legs to come really tight up towards the pelvic so that we support our sacrum, our lumbar, and also our pelvis. Now, the top hand is most neutral down in front of you like this. That gives the shoulder full release, but some people like to try this out and put the arm behind the back. Now, this doesn't feel good for my shoulder because my shoulder on this side is a little tweaky, so I'm going to not do that. But I'm going to come out of all of this in a few moments and play some more bowls anyway. But you're going to hang out here. And so if you have a blanket over your body, unless you're warm this way, that's a good idea. If you have something that goes across the eyes, that's a great idea. If you just want to close your eyes, that's okay too. And so once you arrive there, nothing for you to do. I'm going to be here for about, I'd say about 6 minutes. Maybe take a deep breath into your abdomen and then let out some sound. Always remembering that that sound, that is another way the body relaxes deeper into the shape. So anytime that comes up for you, if you need to release with some sound, please feel free. a slower, deeper, fuller breath into the abdomen. And then exhale. Let it all go. Before we transition to the next side, from where you are, taking your top hand to the upper outer hip and then turning your palm facing the sky. And imagine you're just touching all the clouds and just reaching this top hand all the way beyond your head. Maybe the hand will touch the floor, maybe the fingers will hover. And then very gently stretch your top leg out towards the bottom if you have the mat. But if not, just towards the baseboard of the wall. Just give a little push out through the heel. And then what we're going to do is we're going to gently roll our upper chest and torso towards the ceiling and then roll down a little bit towards the floor. Just a couple trunk rotations. Opening everything up, inhaling, and then exhaling, rounding towards the floor. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, expand, open. And then as we exhale, looking towards the floor, taking this top hand again, pushing it down to the floor in front of your heart. Other hand will follow. And you can just lift yourself up from there. And really easy transition to the other side. I'm actually going to keep whatever's in between the legs there. I'm going to turn my back towards the other two props and then turn around until the other hip is flush up against that prop. The inside hand is pressing the ground right between the two props down in that valley. The outer arm extends, and then the hand sweeps across the body to this inner rib and torso area, and just sweep again, just like we did on the other side, up and down, all through the ribs. Just some loving connections here for this side. And then when you reach the bottom of the rib there, the bottom rib, the floating rib, just give it a little hoist up and then place it over the cushion and then slide the arm all the way through, letting your head come down to rest on that first cushion. And so again, most neutral for this top shoulder is that top hand just resting on the floor in front of the heart. If you need to readjust the item that's between your inner legs, please feel free to do that. If you want to try to bring that top arm behind your back, bending at the elbow, that's another option. What we're looking for here in restorative yoga is the most compassionate, easeful positions of our bodies. So whatever feels the kindest, the most relaxing. And just letting go. Maybe take a slow, deep breath in into the abdomen. Maybe letting out a sound, a sigh, a moan, a groan, doesn't matter. Bringing your awareness to your breathing. Allow it to enter the nostrils, deepening into the abdomen, into the pelvic that's being supported by that little item that's between the legs. And just exhale, let the body rest a little bit more in the exhale. And then from here, taking that top hand, placing it out on the hip there for a moment, and then turning the palm up towards the ceiling, up towards the sky, the atmosphere, and gently arcing the arm up and over your head yet again, letting the hand or fingers touch down or hover the floor, and then slowly reaching the top leg towards the base of the wall, just reaching out through the heel. And then from here, rolling your upper chest towards the ceiling, towards the sky, and then rounding the trunk towards the earth, towards the props. Feeling the hip, the ribs, connecting into whatever they are. One more time, inhale, expand and open. And then on exhale, rounding towards the floor. Take the top hand again, press down into the floor, use the other hand to bring you all the way up to seated. Good job out there. Good job at resting. So now we're going to be doing twists, and twists can be challenging for some people. So I do, again, I have a little advantage. I'm not sure, I can't really see what you guys have all the way from out here. But if you had to firm cushions or blocks, let's say if I only had blocks, I could take a block or 2 blocks like that, and I could take a towel, and this could be my side where I was going to put my leg. So let's just say I put those 2 blocks on the left. Now I have 2 firm bolsters, which is ideal. So if you can see here, this would be ideal. 2 firm, good sized things like that. But if you don't have that, blocks with a blanket or firm cushions from your couch, whatever you got there. And so that's going to be one side. The other side, put 1 prop. Anything you got, a cushion, a pillow, what have you. And then we're going to come down, lying down between everything. I'm going to take this cushion out of the way. And so we're just lying down. So have your higher stack on your left, okay? And then bend your right knee. So your right knee is bent, it's on the floor, the foot is on the floor, and the stack is over to your left. So we're going to be rotating this right leg over to the left, which is why we need something that's high enough to support the inner right leg, okay? And we'll figure it out as we go. So the right foot is going to press into the floor. The breath is super important. When you go to the chiropractor, if you ever do or if you ever have, when they turn the spine, when they twist, they do it when you exhale. That's when the tissues around the vertebrae will release. So we want to make sure that we're exhaling as we twist. So here we go. We're going to push into our right foot. Inhale, lift, lift and bring the hips a little bit over to the right. I'm going to pull this stuff in with my left hand, and I'm going to exhale over to the left. So this item that's behind my back, I'm going to pull it really close to the back so that this right arm can release onto it with the palm facing sky. So this is actually pretty good with these 2 blocks, not bad at all. So I'm going to take my left hand, and so take yours, and sweep from your outer hip, whatever you can reach up to with your left hand on your outside of your right leg, the hip, the IT band, the outer knee, because this gives a little bit of, assist, a little bit of release. And then you could maintain this posture by just placing your hand on the outside of the knee Or if you feel like your leg will stay as it is, you could release your left arm. Most neutral for the neck is the eye gaze turning towards the direction that your leg is going. So that's most neutral. You can also turn your head straight up. The eyes are recommended to be closed, but the eyes would be extending upward towards the sky. Some people like to tuck the chin and turn the eye gaze away from the bent leg. So you would be looking over to the right. This is all very personal. Whatever feels right for your body is what we're looking for. And as we begin to settle in again, taking deep, deep breaths and exhaling. Deep, deep breaths. Exhaling. Letting your abdomen relax. Yeah, make sure you're nice and warm out there. And so we're going to transition to the other side. So first thing is to take your back hand and scoot whatever it is close to your back. Just push it away enough so that when you roll to your back, you're going to roll on the flattened ground, not on anything bulky. So make sure that that's not in your way. And then take your left hand to the inside of your right knee. See if you can put your right foot on the top of the left thigh. Take a deep breath. And on your exhale, slowly turn back to center. Release your left hand to the ground. Slide your right foot off the thigh onto the floor and straighten everything out. And just take a moment to pause here. Right foot is on the floor. Arms are relaxed. Deep breath or two. And now we're going to switch our props. So I'm going to take whatever's on the right side and I'm going to put that on the left, and take whatever you got there for your thigh over to the right side. Make sure everything is, right in the center of the body. And then bend your left leg so both feet are on the floor once you get your props arranged. And then you're going to slide your right leg down long. Your left foot is still on the floor. And then we're going to take our right hand and put it over to the left. Step your left foot on top of your right thigh this time. And so your right hand is on the outside of your left leg. Take a deep breath. Lift the hips a little bit. Bring your hips over the left side, and then on your exhale, turn to the right. Take your right hand and gather the props so that they're flush underneath your left leg. And then take your left hand and pull whatever it is on this left side close to your back, and then just let your left palm turn to the sky. And now again, most neutral for the neck is just to turn the head in the direction of the left knee. So you're looking over to the right, but you can see your left knee. You can also turn your head straight up so that the eye gaze is extending towards the sky. Or if it feels really good for your neck, you can of course look left. And then take your right hand and just begin to massage from your outer left hip all the way down the leg, several of these loving sweeps. Even push in a little bit with your finger pads. You can find some of that tightness there that we all have. This is one of the tightest areas of the body, this long fascial band connecting the hip to the knee. And then you can just maintain that hand on the outside of the left leg. I like that because it keeps the leg just where I want it to be. But you might want to just release your right arm off to the side. And this side could feel different depending on the body, depending on the spine, the hip. So going back inside, closing your eyes down, taking deep, deep breaths, maybe letting some sound release. Really giving your body the permission to let go with every exhale. Taking a slow inhale, following the breath down into the abdomen, and fully exhale all of the old air. Feel the body decompress just a bit more. And then first thing, take your left hand, pull away that prop. Just kind of pitch it off to the side so that, again, when you roll to your back, you're going to roll on the flattened floor. And then step your left foot on top of your right thigh. Slide your right hand beneath your left knee to support it. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, turn to the center. And then let your left foot slide down to the floor. Left knee is still pointing up towards the sky. Release your right leg and your arms to the floor. And just take a few moments here to arrive. Feel all of the points of contact with your back body, your foot on the floor, your left foot, your right heel, your right leg. Notice what you notice. And then from here, we're going to rebend our right leg, put the foot flat on the floor. And this is where, for this next pose, I do recommend something that is pretty firm. You could use a yoga block, but that might be a little bit hard. So if you had like a cushion that's pretty firm, too soft wouldn't work, but we don't want it to be too big. Sometimes I use a bolster, but sometimes that can be a lot depending on your back. So I've got a good old crepillo here. That's what we used to call them, crepillos. And so I'm going to put whatever I've got there on either hip side. It doesn't matter which one. And if all you have is a yoga block, you could certainly take the block and put something soft on top of it, like I've done here with the beach towel. You can do that as well. But you're putting it to the side of the hip. Now, the knees are bent, the feet are flat on the floor. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale, lift your hips into bridge just above the height of whatever you got, and then push it underneath your sacrum. And then once you've got yourself on whatever it is that you're on, just go ahead and move around a little bit. See how it feels. So you can do this little windshield wipering that I'm doing here. And then coming to the center, I'm going to lift one knee right above the hip and then the other one. Really important that there's really nothing underneath your head or neck, because you want your neck to be in its neutral position. Shoot those legs right up towards the ceiling, 90 degrees. And then if you need to scooch and wiggle until you feel that you've reached your spot of comfort, your sweet spot. And so the arms are relaxed. The palms can be facing sky. Look up at your feet and just let the toes relax. Just kind of look at your legs admiringly, how beautiful they are and how strong. And then just let there be a little bit of space between the legs. And then let's just swirl the feet around the ankles, nice and slow. I've got a lot of bone music usually in my joints, and that's okay. So it's good if we have, some dryness in our joints, especially during this colder season of the year. We want to do these smaller movements daily. So lots of little wrist movements. You could even do your wrists while you're doing your ankles if you'd like. And then a little flex to the heels of the feet. Feel that awakening of the back of the legs, and then point your toes. Feel the awakening of the front. Just a few of these. Now, hopefully this feels pretty effortless to stay here. We're going to be here for a little while. Soften your knees just a tad. This pose is my favorite restorative pose of all. Of all the poses I've ever done, I prefer this one often because I feel the release of the tension of the legs, the reset of the spine. This pose boasts so many health benefits. Just as I said, we're draining the tension from our legs. We're aligning our spine. All of our organs are resting right now, deep into the carriage of the body. So the heart muscle doesn't have to pump as much blood to the body right now, so it's in a resting state. The pulse rate slows down. The blood pressure lowers. The mental activity slows down. So this is a fabulous pose to deeply rest, even though it might seem like there's, energy going. There's really not. The legs are just kind of relaxing. If at any time that feels effortful, you can take a break and just bend your knees. Okay, so staying there for just a couple minutes, and then we're going to do a couple fun things with the legs. So as women, we sometimes have circulatory issues in our legs, right? It kind of shows up as varicose veins, like stagnant energy. So this is a pose to help to clear all that stagnant energy. Viparita Karani can be done with legs against the wall. That's why they say legs up the wall pose also. If you have a wall, you can do this that way as well. You can also have your knees bent, and you can have your lower legs, your calf bellies on a chair, which is why I love chair yoga, shavasana, because that shavasana is a version of this pose. So it is wonderful to have your legs on a chair or on a bed with your spine on the floor. So just taking a few deep breaths here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to support our outer thighs. So bring your hands to your outer thighs and just let your legs very slowly drift away from one another. Nice and slow. And the legs will come to a stopping place. It's an organic place for them, and that's where they'll hang out. So this might bring your attention to the inner area of the legs. So now my invitation is to place your hands there and just begin to sweep these inner legs with your hands, but also I take my finger pads and I push into the connective tissue. And these are yours, so you have full permission to do this, to give these areas of our body a little bit more attention. So for many of us, this is a very taut, tight area, and it's an intimate area, right? So it needs more connection. And what I also like to do is take my hands on the side and do the old side hand karate chop, in and out, up and down, all the way to the pelvic floor, all the way out to the inner knee. Woo. And then maybe a few more sweeps. Maybe if you can reach the back of the knee, anything you can reach. So your calves, your shin, if you can reach your feet. Mine are frozen like a piece of ice. But all that, whatever you can reach to, the upper thighs, the outer thighs, the sides of the hips. You can take your hands in there and just rub. And then when you're ready, gather the legs back to 90 degrees. And take a moment here with your knees. Just take your finger pads and just rub around the knee, just squeezing around the knee. Maybe even a little of the quad. I'm using my hands to squeeze that quad muscle. And then we're going to bend our left leg, interlace your hands, support around your left knee on your shin. Very slowly lower your right leg. And I'm going to take a little bend into the right knee so that I can slacken the hip flexor on the way down. And then the heel will touch down on the floor. If you have props like I do all around me, you could actually put your right foot on a prop. That would lessen the stretch of the right hip flexor. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to angle this left knee a little bit out towards the left shoulder and then pass it over towards the pelvic. Just a few of these, just to get a sense of the release of the left hip. And then we can let our left knee align with the left shoulder. And just take a few deep breaths, feeling the front of your right hip releasing, your hip flexor. And indirectly, we're tapping into the psoas muscle, which is known as the seat of the soul muscle. It's the deepest muscle in our body, attaching to that lower back area, wrapping around the hip cradle and in towards the inner knee. And so this is a really, really good way to release that deep muscle, affecting our back, affecting our hip, our pelvic, even the knee. Deep, deep breaths, letting go with the exhale. Let's check in with our jaw. So wet the lips and rub them together and just let your mouth move a bit. You could take that lower row of teeth into circles and also shift the lower row of teeth left and right. Sometimes we're clenching the jaw unknowingly. Another deep breath or two. And then when you're ready, guiding the left thigh bone back in alignment with the left side of your chest, I'm going to slowly lower the left foot to the ground and then bring the right knee in and then bring the left knee back in. And then from here, take the hands interlaced around the right shin bone. I'm going to reach the left leg skyward, take a little bend of the left knee, and slowly lower the leg, thinking about extension from the hip all the way to the heel. And I'm holding on to the right shin bone, and we're just going to start to very gently guide the right knee towards the right shoulder, and then a little bit across the pelvic towards the left. And then allow the right knee to angle itself towards the right shoulder. And now we're going to be noticing the front of our left hip. Breath flowing in and out. Filling the belly. Releasing all the air. Nothing to do, nowhere to be. Just in this beautiful releasing position. Whenever the mind wanders away, we notice we're the observer, that's all. And then we return to the sensations, the body, the feeling and sound of our own breathing. And then from there, bringing that right thigh bone back in alignment with the right side of the torso, slowly lower your right foot to the ground and then just let that right leg extend. I'm going to rub the hip flexors a little bit as I release the legs. And I would invite you to do the same. Just kind of rub the front of your hip flexors. Get in there with your fingertips. So as we've been sitting in our chairs, since we were little, and the cars and the planes even, this area has gotten shorter, right? Which is pulling in directly on that lower back. So just giving this area lots of warmth. And then from here, you can start with your arms alongside your body. Eventually, we're going to do something else with the arms, but for now, just releasing the arms, just noticing the front of the body, all of this space that we're creating here. Adding in deeper breaths and then fully releasing the breath. And then bringing the arms up above the chest, I'm going to come into a bind again. I'm going to take my right hand to the left wrist, left hand to the right wrist, and just take this bound unit of arms over and beyond the head to accentuate the opening across our heart, shoulders, our pec area. And just take a couple more deep breaths, filling the upper chamber of the chest. Fully exhaling, letting it all go. And then slowly taking the arm unit back across your body. Just let the arms dissolve off to the sides. And then we're going to come out of it by bending one knee at a time, bringing the foot flat, and then the other one will follow. Opening up the feet really wide, grounding down through both of them. Inhale, exhale, lift the hips, and then take whatever it is underneath your sacrum out to the side, and very carefully from upper spine to lower spine, lower everything down. I'm going to just plop the cushion or whatever you've got there on the belly, and then step your feet as wide as your shoulders. Let your knees again lean into each other like a V, like an upside down V. And then begin to notice from the back of your head all the way to your tailbone, fully connected on the floor. I like to have the cushion here for a little bit of weight so that I notice my belly breath. I notice the rising and the falling, but also giving a little warmth. Now from here, for our final pose, I'm going to take this cushion away, and I'm going to find 2 blocks, whatever you have. And I'm going to put one underneath each knee hinge, just like so. And this is where you can put things like cushions or pillows on your torso for weight. I'm going to come out of this, but you know, for supported Shavasana, it's nice to have warmth and weight on the body, like you're getting a big hug. You could put something small underneath your head, but again, we're looking to maintain the curve of the neck, not to take it away. Once you get nice and settled, beautiful, I'm gonna play the gong. Settling into your body, nothing to do, just to receive. Receive the earth, receive the support of the props and the vibration of the gong. Allowing the breath to continue to move through your body with ease. Imagining our body is like an open wind vessel, so that when we breathe the breath, the life force and prana can move all through the body, pervasively, to all of our cells, tissues and organs, taking care of our systems. allowing your breath to deepen and lengthen, slowly coming out of this resting position. If you do have blocks underneath the knees, I always use them to stretch my legs from, so if they're there, you can reach your legs out and extend them and see how that feels for you. It's hard to tell what you have underneath you, so just start to wake up your body in a gentle manner. Yeah, maybe the head wants to just slowly roll a little bit left and right, no rush at all. Beautiful. So when you guys get up and about, you can unmute yourselves. Yay. Linda, hi. You're unmuted. How you
Yeah,
doing?
it was great. I didn't get to hook it up to my speaker, but I had it on the Mac and it came out. It was great. It was great.
Good,
We didn't
good.
have, oh my gosh, it was quite a treat. I didn't know we were gonna have sound with our restorative. Like,
Yeah, I wanted to surprise you.
that maybe I missed something because I haven't been on Facebook all week. But,
Would you
but
have rather known? I was like, should I tell them? And I was like, I just wanted it to be a little surprise.
it's like a gift. Thank you so much. It was
You're
a
welcome. Hello there, Chessie. Hi, Mary. Hi, Juliana.
Oh,
Do you feel, anybody out there feel rested?
yes.
Good, good. How did the sounds resonate with you and translate?
I loved it.
Did they sound?
Particularly the like the chime sounds, the bell
Oh,
sounds. Is that when you first hit the bowl?
no,
Or
actually, that was at the end. It's funny because when I do these big, big things at Kripalu on Sunday nights, sometimes people come up and they usually say, because I go over them and I chime like that over everybody's body. And they always say, that's my favorite. And a lot of people like the gong too. I don't know how that translates in. I love it all. I mean, personally, I think it's different when you're doing it. You don't receive the same vibrations as when you're just resting. But for me, I feel my bones adjusting. I feel releases that happen all throughout. So that's a really good thing for me. It's one of the reasons why I like to offer it. But yeah, I love the vibrations. And for me, it takes me out of my thought processes, which I think is really valuable if that happens for you to kind of, just put all that aside and just receive the vibrations. Has any of you done a sound bath before? You have, Chessie?
yeah.
And you have, Mary? Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, all of you have. Okay, good, good,
And I
good.
just did it for the first time at Kripalu. Actually, I did an R&R day in October, I think it was,
Hmm.
and there was
And
the
you,
sound bath as part of it.
yeah, it was with Elise, I'm betting.
I think so.
Yeah, yeah. She does it on Saturdays and like another day during the week, and I'm like the catch-all on Sunday night in the main hall. Yeah, it's such a beautiful offering. I love that. I wish I could go to hers and just partake. All right. Well, I've got my prompts going, so if you're ready, we'll go ahead and so, before it gets too far away from the experience, how do you feel right now? And what stands out for you right now? Oh, I might mute you all. Let's see. Maybe all of you guys mute. I'm not sure what that is. Sound like a chainsaw. So how do you feel right now? What stands out is the first prompt. And the second, if you're ready for that, was it an easy task to rest? Was it easy for you? Or did you find it challenging? And these, of course, are just simple observations. There's no judgment to ourselves or anything like that. But why do you think it was a yes or no? Why do you think it was easy to rest? Maybe because you're just so exhausted. It could be something like that, or, that you like to rest and it feels easeful for you to do it. Or why was it challenging? Why do you think that it challenged you to rest? Sometimes it could be something like the mind is still pretty active. Maybe your body is not feeling good, or, there's some pain in the body. And those are areas to think about, to feel into, and to support. So that first question was, how do I feel right now? What stands out? Do you get enough rest in your life? Whether it be constructive rest, which is what we just did, or your sleep cycles at night. And of course, we want to get enough rest, right? I don't think any of us wants to be sleep deprived. But there are ways to access, a deeper rest. And I think doing restorative poses really helps with that, especially at nighttime. I do that Vipariti Karani one, the legs up the wall pose. I do that sometimes on my floor before I go to night-night. So if you get enough rest, absolutely wonderful. You can always use more, right? And deeper rests, and we can always benefit from restorative yoga, because restorative yoga is the only yoga. Yin yoga is similar, but there's still some work involved. There's still some activation in yin yoga. But in restorative, there's no output. It's all you're just taking in, which I think is really important to note, that no other practice is the same. Yoga Nidra is very, very much like restorative. It's more guided, right? There's more words and, information coming in, but that is very similar. But restorative is more, less mind, more just accessing the body's wisdom to let go on its own. Look at your cute puppy. What was your favorite pose? And could you make that an HA, a health appointment? And lastly, how was the sound healing for you? What did you feel, or what did you sense during that experience? I think it might be different in person than it is online, but I still think, from what I understand, because I've done a several of them, that hopefully it translates pretty well, and that you still received some of that energy of the sounds, of the vibrations. So those white bowls were the 7 chakras, so from the root to the crown. And then I have 5 Tibetan bowls that I play too. And those offer a different vibration. I always think that the Tibetan bowls give more of a deeper resonance in the body, like a deeper, more ancient feeling for me. And then the crystal bowls feel more ethereal, more up here, even though sometimes they're rooted in the, the root chakra, and that you've got the three lowers. But for me, I feel it more moving upward. But that's just me. You could feel something totally different. And then I'm going to, once you're done with all of that, I'm going to open it up to anything you might want to share about this experience today. Because again, it helps us, it helps me when I hear myself express how I feel. It helps those around as well. It might resonate with somebody else. And then of course, those who will watch this later, it might help them as well. And you don't have to share, but if you feel inclined to, or something speaks out to you from one of these prompts that you'd like to share with the group, that'd be great.
I'll go if nobody else wants to.
Okay.
What was interesting to me is I had a hard time being patient. And usually I love relaxation poses. But what I think is the vibration of the sound was triggering things that were held in my muscles, like anger and frustration, especially when I was in the twist.
Mm.
I could feel this agitation kind of like bubbling up from inside of me. So I just focused on letting it clear, letting it go, letting it clear. But it was challenging. And I think it was a really a great combination of the vibration of the sound with the poses.
Mm.
Mm.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah.
That's really fascinating. And because that's this, I wanted to, because, I could have just used music and it would have been very, very, restorative. And then I
Mm.
thought to myself, because I've done this when I worked at Canyon Ranch, we used to do this. We had a combo. I didn't do the bowls. I led the restorative practice. And this
Mm.
is when I fell in love with the bowls, actually. This woman would come in and she would play them. And I just felt like, wow, this is really a good combo. What I've been noticing in my sound baths is people's physical body reacting and lots of feedback coming up to
Yeah.
me. One lady had like these metal clips in her body, and she said that she felt connected to them like she'd never felt before, and she felt pain. And then
Mm.
but it dissipated, like after she, like you were doing, like
Yeah.
focused on it and it dissipated. I've had a couple of people go into just all out, like just shakes, like
Mm.
shakes, and I mean their bodies like shaking, and then some crying. I've
Mm.
witnessed people crying. And so we are vibration, and every single organ has a different frequency and a vibration. So this is actually moving things within the body. And we are emotional beings. And it makes sense on the twist, right? Getting into the liver a little bit,
Right.
like, that would release some anger and some experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel now, Mary?
I feel energized and calm at the same time.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah, I feel like it'd probably be a good time for me to journal because things feel like they're on the surface.
Wow. Wow.
Mm.
Yeah, and I was gonna, that's why these prompts are good. But yeah, you can go from that after we're done here and just sit with all of that and let yourself integrate this practice. Because it is, it may not seem like we did too much, but boy, did we. That letting go
Mm.
into those poses. I didn't do all of them with you, but I feel a lot. I feel a lot different now. So
Mm.
definitely, thank you for sharing all that, and I hope that
Mm.
this just is sort of like a tuning in for you of deeper
Mm.
things, and to me, what a good way to start the new year, just kind of
Mm.
releasing some stuff, letting it flow out. Thank you for sharing that. That's really
You're welcome.
helpful. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah. You're a cute puppy. Oh my God.
Right.
Yes.
So I would love to share if I could.
Yes.
And really the sound, it's funny, Elise was my very first experience probably 2 years ago with a sound bath at Apollo, and that was wonderful. And since I found someone local that I do it pretty consistently, and it really depends. I mean, we'll all find that when we do this again, and even re-listen to this class, that you can have a totally different experience. It depends on the vibration of where you are in that moment, because there are plenty of times where it is a struggle and you are impatient. And then, like today, for me, in the end, I was just in a, I'll just say gone. I was aware and aware the whole time, and a little bit of mind chatter and some eye moisture, not necessarily, full tears, but sometimes you do just feel that, and they just come up, not tied to anything, just from the feelings within your body. And it can be very different, and each experience, and even though we can listen to the same, it's where your frequencies are, I think, on that given day. And it really, it was, I wasn't sure what to expect from today, but the combination of the posture with the sound, I would say, was, like you said, a wonderful combination, because normally it's, a sound bath is, still, and you're listening, but the combination of perhaps the twist, or the connection to a posture, legs up the wall, to think of those two things together, and it just takes you to a new place, and it was really wonderful. So, but ladies, if you enjoyed it today, try it again tomorrow.
That's great advice, especially because, Chessie, thank you that you've been doing these sound baths for a while. And what you said is, as I find very, very true, is even me as playing them, I always have a completely different experience. It's always, depending on so many things. And yet we don't know until we arrive there, how we're going to experience whatever is going to come up for us. Yeah, that's why I like to do, like, what I do is, this is my setup in my living room, and I do the bowls and I lay down and bang, 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 lay down so that I can kind of get that feeling of, what does it feel like to completely let go of efforting and allow sound and vibration to move through the vessel. But yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Linda, did you want to share?
Yeah, and actually it goes now with Chessie and Mary, because Mary, I felt the anger too, especially in the twist. And I felt like I had to move when I was in the twist, like to get it out a little faster, like to help it move. So, and then when you were mentioning, yeah, this isn't just a still sound bath. We were in poses, but yeah, but then I moved some more, a little, especially in the twist, um, which I find really interesting, because it wasn't just a still sound bath. You put us in restorative poses, which was like amazing. And then you can move a little bit more if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it helps things move along more. But anyway, I do have a question. When you
Mm-hmm.
said you feel releases, like my stomach growls a lot. I feel emotions a little bit, but um, and I like the monkey mind, and I let it go, and I come back to the breath and come back to the sound. But when you say you feel releases in your body, um, what does that? Can you describe that a little? Like, what a release feel like in your body? Like a pop, or do you feel different kind of?
Good question. I feel like to this particular time, my sacrum is a mess. I have so much in my sacrum and so much compression in my lower discs that when I am doing the bowls and when I did them today, I felt a significant like little cracks and releases, and they felt very, very good. Never, and then I felt like a vertebrae in my mid back just click, just went right back to place, you know. And it's usually when I'm breathing the after, so it's the, you know, when you're putting the pressure on the bowl, it's really not about that moment. Sometimes that irritates me actually. But when I let it go and then that boom, 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 that is what clears, and that's what's moving stuff around inside. Because, you know, just like anything has like a reverberation, like your body, you know, you may not be able to see the movement, but the body is moving, you know, with the vibrations. And so that's why I think that some people actually get, you know, a full blown release of movement. There's like external movement happening. But yeah, I feel adjustments of my bones and little clicks and releases. And yeah, it helps with, for me, it helps with chronic pain because I have chronic pain. And anytime I do the sound healing afterwards, my chronic pain has lessened a great degree, a great degree. Now it's a workout taking all this equipment like I do everywhere I go. It's very heavy and I can't believe I do it all the time. That doesn't feel good, you know, but I've got it down to a science now. I use my core, especially on the gong, it's heavy. And I use my core and, you know, I'm careful. I do the best I can. But once I'm there, wow, you know, which really encourages me as a person that facilitates to continue to do it, because it feels like one of the things that I do that is really beneficial. And the results that people say, the things that they come up with, because there's a lot, I do it with a lot of people. I mean, I've had people say that I remembered somebody from my childhood. This woman told me I remembered like this relative that I hadn't thought about in many, many years. Someone else, the clip thing was really bizarre. Visions, colors, um, an old ayahuasca trip. I mean, you know, people say all kinds of things, you know, um, and I always find them all very fascinating. But just like you said, Chessie, like it doesn't, it, you know, it's always different. But I'm really grateful to you all for going with it and doing the yoga with the sound bowls and the sound healing, because I feel like that's something that I would like to do more of, because of my experiences with it at Kripalu. I don't do that, or not Kripalu, Canyon Ranch. I don't do it at Kripalu. They actually, I was supposed to do the sound bath this Sunday, and they said that there's so many people checking in that they were going to set back jacks up. And I said, I won't do it. Sorry. I'm not going to have people sitting up, you know, in the slack jack, because that's what I call those things. They're really not very supportive. I mean, can you imagine just sitting there at 7:30 at night, all rounded over, you know? And I said, you guys, you know, I've told this before, I just got to have them laying down, at the very least, just have people in a restful state of being. So I'm going to do something else this Sunday, and they said okay, but there's just so many people that show up in the main hall. But I said I've had wall-to-wall people. I mean, on the stage next to me, everywhere. So we've never had a problem with anyone, you know, finding their own space. But so I said, okay, well, you know, we must be in a relaxed state of being for these vibrations. Because, you know, if I think about that woman with the clip, can you imagine like her crunched over and then that energy trying to move through and it not being able to move through? Your puppy's so cute. It's so cute. What's your puppy's name?
He's a foster, and his name is
Oh,
Tommy. So yeah,
Tommy. He's really young. How old is he?
he's about 3.5 months, maybe.
Oh, he's a baby. He
Yes,
is
yes,
so cute.
he's a baby.
He's
Yeah,
a ham. Look at him.
he
Oh my
he can
goodness.
be. He sleeps more than I can ever imagine that a puppy would, but when he's up, he's up.
He's up. He's up and he's ready.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, I am just so grateful for each of you and everybody that, you know, that came. And, you know, I know everybody hasn't been able to come, but some people have written me afterwards and have watched the videos. And it's just been so, so wonderful to meet up with you guys every Saturday. And so I have, I'm going to be teaching classes every Tuesday night. Thank you for the heart, Linda. Every Tuesday night, starting next Tuesday at 7:30, and you guys get 8 free classes. And so all you have to do, and I'm going to put it in the chat, but I'm also going to send you an email. You're just going to put, let's see here, to everyone. This is your code, and it was in the initial information packet that you got, but that's what you're going to put in to the class, or anything that I do, you're going to get a discount from because you're a founding member, right? So you get 8 classes free every Tuesday night. It's going to, and I'm going to send out an email, so you'll get this, you'll get the invitation. And so there'll be an individual Zoom link for every week, and every week you would just put in founding members, just like that, and then you would get it for free, okay? And I was going to start another workshop right away, but I've decided not to, and to do it in the springtime, because I'm going to Costa Rica to be with my dear friend Sherry in March and take her program. And so probably in April, we'll start another program. And this program is going to be for mobility issues, because I'm a person, I don't probably seem like it, but I have a lot of my own mobility issues. And I feel like a lot of people do. So it's going to be, chair yoga and, stuff like that. There's going to be, I mean, this one could have been similar. Of course, Kundalini yoga doesn't fit in with that. But yeah, it's just going to be really about, mobilizing joints, somatic movement, but more chair yoga for that program. But the one on Tuesday night will vary. It will be, maybe it'll be a hatha practice. Maybe it'll be even a restorative practice, a yoga nidra. So every week will be something different. So it'll keep it exciting. I hope that you come by, and I'm going to be sending out an email. And if you guys want to offer a testimonial, that would be wonderful, with a picture of your beautiful face so that I can put it on my website. And what I also am going to ask you is for feedback of any sort. It doesn't matter if it's, it's all welcomed, okay? Because I'm new at this. This was my first program. I'm learning. There have been a lot of glitches on my side that I've been trying to work out, but I'm in that learning stage. So anything you have to offer, I know it's meant with love and kindness, and it will help me grow as a teacher online and as a teacher in general. And improve. So please feel free to offer anything you want to. And our Facebook group is still up and running, and I'm going to still be putting stuff in there. So please check in with that. And when the new program comes out, of course, you'll be invited, and you will get a little discount. And I hope to see you then, or maybe on those Tuesday night classes. Then I'm going to be doing Thursday night journey dance classes. That will not be for free, because that'll be with Tony Bergen's, her journey dance program. But I will be teaching ecstatic dance on Thursday nights, probably around 7:30. And that I'm still waiting for Tony to complete her stuff. And then you'll know about that as well, if you just might want to come and dance and really move around and get some stuff released too that way.
Would that dance be live in
It
person or
will. It'll be live. It'll be Zoom live. Yeah, not in person.
Zoom?
It'll be on Zoom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She does one on Tuesdays at noon, and some people can't make it to the noon classes, so that's why I'm going to do an evening class on Thursdays. Yeah, so there'll be lots of offerings in the future. And Mary, I know I'm going to see you at Kripalu. Yay. And I just really am just so grateful for all of you. So thank you
Well,
so
I
much.
really enjoyed this. Thank you so much. You've
You're
really
so
done
welcome.
quite a variety of different types of practices, and some of which were new to me. So it was
Yeah, thank you for that,
experience.
Julianne. I hope to see you again. I hope to hang out with you again, and maybe when you all come back to Kripalu.
I have another commitment on Tuesday evenings. I sing in a chorus, so I won't be able to
Oh, wow.
attend
Good for you. That's beautiful.
service, but
Well, maybe next program I'll see you, or down the road somewhere.
I hope so.
I
Yes.
hope so. I really do. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much.
Yes, and have to say, Antoinette, it's my pleasure and a blessing to be able to support you as a founding member, because I really connected with you, and the yoga dance was probably one of the things that really expanded my appreciation for release, and and getting past a judgment, or saying, oh my gosh, that's crazy, I can't do that. And then jumping into it full, without that judgment, and just being present. And the benefit from that really connected me, and I felt connected me to you. So being able to support you here is a blessing to me.
Thank you, Chessie. Thank you so much. Thank you. So beautiful. Oh, I don't want to go.
I didn't realize this was the last class.
You didn't?
Oh,
Maybe I should do a bonus. I could. I
it's-
wouldn't mind.
Yeah, it was so great getting to know you, and I will definitely continue. And I love Journey Dance, and this has been really great. What a great beginning to the year.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. So
Really.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Miss Mary, thank you.
Thank you. My life is better with you in it.
Ditto, sister. Mary comes to the early morning gentle classes like every day. She lives an hour and a half away. I was bragging about her in the gentle class this past week that she travels an hour and a half to come do the gentle, and then she's a body worker, healer, and she's at work all day, and she makes it there. And so when she comes to my class, I'm just so grateful that she's there. You're just
How
so
could I not?
I know, right? But most people don't.
That's because they don't know what they're missing.
That's right. That's right. You keep telling them that too. Tell them to
Yeah.
come and do their gentle in
I
the morning.
do.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah, thank
Many,
you.
many blessings, and I'll see you back here again.
Okay.
Will
Thank you so
do.
much.
Yes.
Bye. And write me
Bye.
anytime if you have any questions. Go to the Facebook group. I'm around.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Bye.